Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Roosevelt Field for tonight's classic battle between the Central Bucks West Bus and the Norristown Eagles. Ladies and gentlemen, Norristown is having a great year, off to 3-0 start, but Central Bucks West, a huge night for them, looking for win number 300 from Coach Mike Pettin. This, I got to tell you, folks, is going to be a classic. The stands are packed, the cars are parked everywhere, and Walt, this is going to be a fantastic battle.
Absolutely, Greg. There is an electricity in the air here that I have not felt in a long time. The crowd was absolutely deafening, and it really was deafening from up here in the press box when Norristown came out of that locker room. I have not heard a crowd like that since maybe some Thanksgiving Day games a long time ago. This is going to be a special night at the end, one way or another.
And Walt, these really are two good teams, and you got to think about the 300th win for Coach Mike Pettin. You also have to think that this is going to do a lot for the season for both teams. Norristown 3-0, Central Bucks West 3-0, and both teams really battling to get that edge in Suburban 1.
Absolutely. Norristown, after a couple years being down a little bit, is back in the playoff race this year, and this is the game. This has been the game that has taken them out of the playoff race. This has been either the game that they have lost to take them out of the playoff race, or the game that they have looked to and looked past some opponents and then lost that game to take them out. Of course, Central Bucks West starts the year out, again, ranked number 1 in the state, always looking to go to the playoffs, looking for their third PIAA state championship. Many think they have an absolutely realistic shot to get it. So this is really going to put somebody in control of Suburban 1 National, and you have to say, the winner of this game, who's going to beat them after this?
Well, Central Bucks West, number 1 in the state. How really did they get there, and what do we have to look for from Central Bucks West tonight?
Well, how did they get there? I think their opponents are asking that too. They have absolutely trounced everybody they have played. Scores like 56-7, 42-0. Now, the 56-7 game was against the Abington Ghosts, who we saw Norristown really wallop last week. So the Ghosts aren't the strongest opponent, but Central Bucks West puts everybody away. They put everybody away. As you see the coin toss being decided, Central Bucks West has won, and they will receive. So they will start on offense. And Greg, that's going to be a tough challenge for that Norristown defense. Central Bucks West is absolutely huge. There are no surprises. They come right at you. Believe me, Mike Pettin will not do anything special to get that 300th win. He will do what he always does, and that is pound the ball down your throat.
Well, Central Bucks West, you see them play, and they're such a great team. The one thing you really got to notice about them is their ball control offense, and they will eat up some time on you.
Absolutely. I mean, don't be surprised they put the ball in the air. Their quarterbacks do like to run, so you'll see some things. But it's another huge team with huge linemen, and they're not just big. They are talented. I mean, they have nationally recruited linemen. This year it's Ben Carver, who's over 300 pounds already. Just a tremendous offensive line. All they need is a quarterback who's not going to make a lot of mistakes. They have 3 great running backs, two of which you'll really see featured tonight. It is truly a ball control offense that does not make a lot of mistakes.
Well, as we alluded to before, these stands in the first quarter last week, people were just starting to fill in, and by 8 o'clock it started to get pretty full here. But you look across on the other sideline, that's the most packed I've seen them in a long time, and it's the most packed I've seen these stands on this sideline in a long time. Well, it's great for football.
Yeah, and this is a team that obviously gets followed around. I mean, people come from far and wide to watch this Central Bucks team. It's not a long drive down from Doylestown, as our producer Tony Coya can tell you, but this being for Pettin's 300th win, this is big. This is statewide news, and everybody knows about it.
Now, Kevin Qualia to kick off for the Eagles. We're getting ready for this classic, as we said, from Roosevelt Field.
Where's the ball going to go? Over there?
And we're underway at Roosevelt Field. Ball is bobbled at the 15. Good coverage by the Norristown Eagles. The CB West will start from the 27-yard line. So right now, a big test for the Norristown Eagles. We will see right now who will get a little bit of an edge in this game. This first drive is crucial for both teams. No wide receivers for CB West. Hand off to the outside, and the Eagles stop him for no gain. Norristown Eagles, the good stop on first down. So we'll have 2nd and 10 from, once again, the 27-yard line. Norristown's defense has been pretty strong so far this year. They cannot afford to make any mistakes tonight against this CB West offense because they will capitalize. 2nd down. Hand off to the outside. A couple of tackles broken there. CB West will get a couple of yards.
And Greg, they seem to be going to Brian Buckley, number 9, who we didn't expect to see so much. We really expected to see for Central Bucks West. Of course, their big fullback, Dustin Picciotti, and number 21, running back Dave Edwards. So far, it's been 2 handoffs to Brian Buckley, their star linebacker, on the other side of the ball.
CB West, just such a talented team. They have a lot of guys who can come onto the field and do some good things. It's a 3rd and 1 for CB West. Handoff up the middle. He's strong enough to get the first down there. It appeared to be Dustin Picciotti. And Walt, he reminds us of another Central Bucks West fullback.
Yeah, he doesn't quite have the size of Dave Armstrong, who's went off to the National Collegiate Co-Champion Michigan Wolverines this year, but Picciotti certainly can carry the ball. And Greg, it looks like Norristown's really stacking that box. They have 3 linebackers in there right now. They have Troy Ellis, Jameel Butler, and Darryl Johnson all up on that line along with the linemen.
It's a 1st down. Man in motion. Busting tackles for number 33, Dustin Picciotti. That's a huge gain for CB West. Picciotti just so strong, just broke through Norristown tacklers there.
Yeah, and so far that Norristown line across the front includes Doug White, Yaboak Bold, Mike Ginyard. You see Mike Wilson on the end up there playing sort of a strong safety spot, but really up on that line. They have 9 guys up on that line trying to stop Picciotti, but that time he managed to get to the outside.
CB West got a 1st down on that play.
The chains were a little bit late moving, actually, though. CB West did get the 1st down, and everybody but the side guys knew it. So we move the chains, and here we go.
Even those guys are nervous. This is a pretty big game. 1st down for CB West from midfield. Hit off to Picciotti. Once again, another 1st down, and he is absolutely just running through the holes that line is creating for him, Walt.
Yeah, and now the Norristown Eagles bring number 72, Pete Toto, onto the field. They're going to try and get a little more size up there because they're just blowing them away on that left side. I suspect it's Carver over there, although we haven't quite picked out who's playing on what side, but I expect it's 310-pound Ben Carver on that side. Don't expect a lumbering guy out of Picciotti. He can move. He can pick those feet up and put them back down, just like Dave Armstrong could.
CB West giving the ball to 2 guys so far, and they're doing the job. 1st down once again, the flag on the play. We'll be coming back, folks.
Game number 4, you got to start minimizing this penalty.
And an uncharacteristic false start by the Central Bucks West Bucks in their first drive of this game. They do not have many false starts, especially motion penalties, which are really just penalties of concentration and not knowing the snap count. Really not a lot of penalties you'll see from this team. Hey,
well,
Greg.
this is going to be a pretty big stop here for Norristown. Now backed up to 1st and 15, so they have a little bit of room. They pretty much need to stop them here. 1st down from the 39-yard line of Norristown. Hand off to Picciotti. He'll get back to the original line of scrimmage.
And Greg, to stop them, Norristown has basically modified their 5 lineman, 2 linebacker system to a 5-4. Now, some of those 4 who are playing in the linebacker spot may actually be safeties, but they are uptight. And right now, they have reason to be uptight because Central Bucks West is moving the ball on them. They got that 5-yard penalty back, and now we're at a 2nd and 10.
And you have to be scared of an offense that comes out and pretty much has no wide receivers wide. It's 2nd and 10 for CB West. Hand off. I'm sorry, that's Orhel on the keeper, and he's going to go for the touchdown. on the keeper. Nobody ever picked him up. He broke through there. A good block downfield. CB West up 6-0 already.
Yeah, and again, that's when you just pound them, and Norristown tried to compensate when they sent that running back up to the line. I think that time it was Edwards off that left side. 3 Norristown defenders converged on him, and Orahel just sneaked inside him and cut inside. Really was unharried to get down the field. So their quarterbacks can always run. Some can do it better than others, but you better watch them because they all can always do it.
Rob Toomley to attempt the extra point, and it's good. Norristown in a hole already with 8:02 left in the first quarter, down 7-0. Well, this will really test the guts of the Norristown team right now.
Yeah, well, Greg, I mean, they've put up 42 points on Pennsbury. They put up 56 points on Abington. You don't do that without converting on a lot of drives. I mean, those are clean football scores. 42 points, that's 6 touchdowns, 6 extra points. 56 points, it's clean football that they play. And they don't turn the ball over much, and they do put it in the end zone when they get it. So it's going to be a test for the Norristown offense to really stay with them. You cannot expect your defense to hold this team realistically under 30. And I'd be surprised if Norristown could even get close to that tonight.
Coach Mike Pettin did say in the paper today that the way that they may beat this Norristown team is just to outscore them. And we'll see right here if they can do it. Well, Norristown's offense has been playing really well this year.
Right, they've shown a very complete offense, the most well-rounded offense that we've seen from a Norristown team in a few years. And they're going to need all of it because Central Bucks West is that big on the offensive line. They're almost as big on the defensive side. So whereas the Norristown linemen have been playing great technical football, size wins out. Size is going to win out, and this is certainly a bigger team. Central Bucks West is a bigger team than Norristown. Norristown is going to have to use all their offensive tricks.
So Rob Toomley to kick it off for the Central Bucks West Bucks. Excuse me. Back deep for Norristown, we have number 5, Audley Stewart, number 3, Darrell Johnson, and number 1, Troy Swittenberg. Norristown really needing to get some good field position here, make it a little bit easier for their offense. A short kick. It was taken by one of the up men, number 7, Carl Moore. He had some troubles with it. Smart idea just to fall on it and let your offense come onto the field. Let's set that Norristown offense for you, led by senior quarterback Chris Blake. The line is Troy Ellis, number 51, Doug White, Mike Ginyard, Yaboa Bolden, Chris Brown. Wide receiver, number 17, James Edmonds. Number 2, Damian Solomon. And of course, the running backs, number 3, Darrell Johnson, and number 1, Troy Swittenberg. So first down for Norristown from the 27-yard line. Blake back to pass. And on first down, almost picked off by number 14, Bill Stone.
Yeah, and Mike Pettin hasn't won 299 games by not studying other teams' playbooks. That's a play we haven't really seen much from Norristown, but obviously West has seen it before because Bill Stone was ready for it. And he got a big paw on that one. He was ready to pick that one off. James Edmonds was wide open in the flat, except Bill Stone was standing between Blake and Edmonds. So Edmonds will come off now, and Norristown will bring in number 9, Trey Hadrick. Looks like he's going to be playing a tight end spot today, Greg, because they're going to need some extra protection.
The 2nd and 10 for Norristown. Oh, a flag on the play. Well, Norristown played really well last week with that short little pass that they used to those receivers. Have an offsides on CB West. That'll help Norristown out.
Well, I think we had a man lined up over the ball. I think it was the man right in the middle of the Central Bucks West line. So they were trying to get very aggressive and get up tight, and that time they were a little too close.
Very uncharacteristic for CB West. 7:56 left in the first quarter and 2 penalties already. Norristown needing to take advantage of this. 2nd and 5, Blake The handoff to Troy Swittenberg. Swittenberg probably got 1 or 2 on the play. We'll leave Norristown with 3rd down.
And that West defense that will be challenged with stopping Troy Swittenberg tonight. Across the front, it's Dustin Picciotti, Rob Bowen, Damian Smith, and Angelo Polana. The linebackers, the star, Brian Buckley, Greg Kinzel, and Brian Colahan. The D-backs, Sean Michael Janssen, Bill Stone, Dave Edwards, and Justin McDonald.
It's a 3rd and 3 for Norristown here from the 35-yard line. In the I formation. Blake the pitch to Swittenberg. He cuts outside, and he is stopped. That was number 23, Greg Kinzel came in there, made a big hit on Swittenberg and drove him back.
And Greg, a hallmark of this Central Bucks West team is always their linebackers. Of course, Dave Armstrong was a star middle guy last year, and a lot of people thought that they only played with 1 linebacker the way Armstrong played, but they have an aggressive back 7, and I'm talking about their 3 linebackers and 4 defensive backs. Every year, they have guys back there who can really, really hit. Travis Blongren from 2 years ago, their great quarterback, went to Penn State to play safety, and there are a lot of other guys in his mold who follow along.
Now Norristown will punt, number 9, Trey Hadry. Ball's taken. Breaks to the outside. He's over midfield, breaking a couple of tackles, and a great run back in CB West with great field position once again. That was number 41, Dave Kembum.
That's a great run back, but boy, a couple Norristown guys missed clean shots, and we did not see them do that against Abington last week. They're going to have to wrap people up. This is a good tackling team. They can tackle. When you get a one-on-one shot, you have got to make that tackle. And that time it was number 51, Troy Ellis, who plays defensive line for Norristown, who had a clean shot at the returner and did not wrap him up. He hit him but did not wrap him up. So Norristown has to get a little sounder right now.
So now the Norristown defense pinned back a little bit on their 37-yard line. Man in motion for CB West. Pitches the outside to Dave Edwards. Edwards with a good chunk of change there.
And Mr. Ellis that time said, "Take that, Mr. Announcer." That's a wrap-up. That's the job. At that time he was in a linebacker spot. Came right up, made a beautiful form tackle to wrap up the running back before he could get any farther.
Well, Troy Ellis, one of the captains on this team, and really that's a great play, even though, as you had said before, a tackle that he's probably angry with himself that he didn't make. He comes back and says, "Here you go. I'm not even thinking about it." It's 2nd down and 4 for CB West. Handoff is to Edwards. He is stopped at the line. Good play by the Norristown defensive line there.
Right, that's what needs to happen. The linemen may not make those tackles, but they've got to at least try to stand those linemen up. We did mention Ben Carver. Also on that line, though, are the monster twins, Joe and John Wilson. Those are 3 guys who come right at you, the smallest of the 3. One of the Wilsons at 255. The other Wilson's 280, and Ben Carver, as we said, 6'3", 310 pounds. And I can tell you right now, if the camera's not doing him justice, he is every bit of that.
We have a timeout for Norristown, and I got to tell you, if I was lined up across from him, I'd be a little worried about what was going to happen to me, but
yeah, that interior, I mean, Norristown has added some size, and they have some talented guys up there in Ginyard and Doug White, some talented guys with a lot of size, Jaboa Kabold, but they are really faced with a challenge, and none of them can really match up size-wise with the guys across the line from them. They're going to have to use their quickness a little bit.
A timeout for CB West. Really a chance for Norristown to get a little bit of a breather and calm down. You have to say that they probably came out a little bit nervous today, a little bit shaky. You know, they're probably thinking about it all day. But Norristown, I think, will put up a good show tonight, Walt.
Absolutely. This is the kind of game as a coach that you love to prepare for. If you're Roger Grove, what do you have to do? I certainly hope that you don't have to get these kids pumped up. I think that's probably going to happen naturally. All you have to do is prepare. You have to to prepare, to plan for this great team that you're going to play. And of course, Mike Pettin had to do the same for the great team that he's playing against the great team he's playing tonight. But you just have to prepare, and that's what the football coaches love to do. I don't think there's a lot of motivation involved this week.
So 3rd and 4 for CB West.
Hurry up, head fast forward.
Orhel under center. Handoff to Picciotti up the middle. And he breaks 2 tackles for a touchdown. Wow, what a run by Dustin Picciotti. Just breaking tackles, got through that line. That's tough for a D-back to stop that coming at you, and he is a train.
He's breaking tackles, Greg, but I'll tell you what, I didn't see a whole lot of guys in blue shirts who really wanted much of a piece of him. You can't let him come straight up that field. I mean, I can't blame them. They're trying to go low. They have to go low. They're doing the smart thing, but Picciotti, just such strong legs. He's running right through tackles. You can't arm tackle him, and if I'm a linebacker or defensive back, I don't want to take him on either. So you can't, the linemen have to stop him up there. The Norristown has to fill the gaps.
Extra point is up, and it's good. So CB West with a 14-0 lead. Gotta say it, they're off to a bit of a good start, Walt.
Absolutely. Again, they got the ball in great field position that time, way on the other side of the 50, due to a good return. Norristown has got to at least swing the field position right here. They have got to keep a drive going. They've got to sustain some sort of offense. Not only is their defense a little bit rattled right now, you have to keep them fresh for the 4th quarter if you even think about coming close to winning this game. So right now the defense is a little bit rattled and probably a little bit tired, and Norristown certainly cannot afford that.
You're right, Walt. Norristown really having to do something this drive, trying to get a couple of first downs, making CB West think, okay, these guys are going to give us a test tonight, because if you go 3 and out on this drive, and they have another chance to come down and score, this game starts to get out of reach really soon.
They love to play offense. It's pure technical football. They've not shown a split look yet. Nobody's out wide. You certainly don't go to this school expecting to catch a lot of passes. And so far they have not shown the need to throw the ball at all.
So Toomley again with the kickoff. A semi-onside kick taken by Trey Hadrick. He's up to about the 33-yard line. Trey Hadrick also another weapon for that Norristown offense. And
Greg, Central Bucks West, I think Mike Pettin has shown this tendency before. He keeps it away from the weapons. I think Toomley certainly has the leg to put it down there near Swittenberg and Johnson, but he keeps it away from the weapons. I remember a game a few years ago up in War Memorial Field where they kicked away from Damon Carroll all night. Of course, we all remember Damon Carroll's tremendous talent and skill now at the University of Florida. They kicked away from Damon Carroll all night. The one time they kicked to him deep in the corner at the 2, he tiptoed the sideline for a touchdown. And I don't think Pettin's going to make that mistake again.
And I agree with you, Well, I think I'll remember that one. So Chris Blake now, first down.
Blake takes a snap, it's a give to his fullback.
Quick hitter to Darryl Johnson. Johnson breaking a couple of tackles. Good effort by Darryl Johnson to get a first down. That's the kind of effort you need on a night like tonight.
That's the effort you need from Johnson, and that's the effort you need from that offensive line. Right there, 3 yards off the line of scrimmage was a pile of all 5 Norristown linemen. They pushed Central Bucks West back that time. Just pushed them off the line and let Darryl Johnson do the rest. They absolutely have to give their running backs the chance to break the line of scrimmage, and then they can do some things. But it all depends on who wins that battle in the trench.
And you look in that pile, and when you don't see a running back come out after about 3 or 4 seconds, you figure he's down. But we waited about 10 seconds, and then all of a sudden he broke through there. So a first down for Norristown, the 45-yard line. Handoff to Swittenberg. Breaks through the line. He'll be short of a first down, but a nice run by Troy Swittenberg. He found a hole. Walt got about 9 yards on that run.
Yeah, a great cutback by Troy Swittenberg, and again, it was enabled by a good lead block from his fullback, Darryl Johnson, who cut the man off trying to get to Swittenberg in the backfield. Again, Swittenberg allowed to reach that line of scrimmage untouched and flashed his running skills from there.
And we've said last week, and we'll say it this week, if you get Troy Swittenberg the room, he is dangerous. And then the CB West line knows that. They know that they have to stop him at the line of scrimmage if they are going to be productive tonight.
And West has good athletes back there, but Norristown does have the speed advantage when it comes to offense versus the West defense.
So 2nd and 1 for Norristown. Blake will give it to Johnson. Johnson breaking a couple more tackles. Darryl Johnson with 2 good carries already in this game.
That's right, and this is what Norristown needs, a little bit of confidence on that offensive line. Norristown's going to mix it up some. They're going to go to Johnson, a little more of a power runner than Swittenberg. And right now, that right side of the Norristown line caving in West a little bit.
Well, you know that line of Doug White and Troy Ellis and Yabo Cabold, Mike Ginyard, Chris Brown. You know that these guys have been looking forward to it. And a lot of these guys playing against CB West before know what they were up against tonight. They'll come out to try and prove something against them. So 1st down from the 40 for Norristown into CB West territory for the first time tonight. Backs in the eye. Blake, the pitch to Swittenberg on the left side. Good coverage by the line there. Number 89, John Wilson, came out of there.
Yeah, and that's a play that just took too long to develop for Norristown. If you allow that Central Bucks West defense to pursue and to work hard, they will work. There's no question about that. They have that instilled in them from Mike Pettin. They know the tradition of the school. They come to work. And if you allow them to pursue like that on plays that take a while to develop, such as a pitch, they'll get there.
The 2nd and 10. Blake drops back to pass. He'll look, finds Trey Hadrick. Hadrick stood up by the D-back. That's a great open field tackle on the other side.
Absolutely. Again, one of the other things that you don't do much against Central Bucks West is break one-on-one tackles. They're tremendous tacklers. They can handle themselves certainly in the open field, even against a great athlete like Trey Hadrick. But a play that Norristown did just to spread things out a little bit, and we've seen them do that before. They like to spread the field, send a man down the right or left sideline, and then bring a big receiver like Trey Hadrick underneath, just get a few yards and see what he can do after catching the ball.
So Norristown with a big 3rd down here. Like the score on this drive, so this is a very big play for Norristown. Blake back to pass, looking up top for Damian Solomon, and he brought it in. Damian Solomon with an amazing catch on the near sidelines. Norristown now within the 5-yard line. That's a big catch.
They did it several times last week where they just locked that ball up to Damian Solomon. He is a big receiver. He is a talented receiver with great hands. That guy is 6'2", 200 pounds. So he can certainly match up out there on the outside with those Central Bucks West corners. And Chris Blake likes to throw it up there and let Damian Solomon go get it. That time he adjusted to the play nicely and just out-muscled the Central Bucks West defender to get down to the 3.
And some noise now being made at Roosevelt Field. Fans have woken up. Now 1st and goal for Norristown from the 3-yard line.
Blake takes the snap. It's a give to the fullback who cannot get into the end zone.
Handoff it to Darryl Johnson. He did not get into the end zone. Stopped by the CB West line.
And now it's muscle on muscle. There's not a lot of room there's not a lot of room down there. Norristown's going to call timeout to discuss it a little bit. But there is not a lot of room inside that 5-yard line. And there are not a lot of things you can do to fool your opponent down tight. So it's pretty much muscle on muscle. Norristown's, I'm sure, going to take 3 downs here to try and put it in the end zone. It's a real debate, Greg. You say, boy, we're down this close. We got to get 3. Norristown's got a good field goal kicker. They can bring out Matt Spitko or Kevin Kowalia, who can certainly put it through from this distance. But Norristown may want to put that 7 up right here. I'm sure that's what they're talking about.
I agree with you, Walt. I think 3 is a good number to put up, but in a game that you want to win, you need to put up 7 right now. And Norristown has 3 more downs to do it. They have to get through that huge CB West line first, however. Well, going back to that play to Damian Solomon, that play has been productive for their first 3 games. And that play seems like it'll work forever because there's not a lot of D-backs who are that big.
Right, and right there you saw that Damian Solomon has tremendous hands. When you can get a receiver who can adjust to the ball as well as Solomon can, obviously he and Blake have just great timing on that play, have really worked on it. They apparently really like working with each other. That's obvious just watching them play. When you have a receiver who can adjust like that, who's that big, and then can catch the ball in any position, that was not an easy catch. It looked like he even juggled it a little bit, but used those soft hands. It's a real weapon. You can't use it all game, but boy, when they needed it, it was there.
The 2nd and goal for Norristown. Damian Solomon wide, backs in the eye. Back to pass. It's got Hadrick in the end zone.
It was very close. Trey Hadrick tried to get low, tried to make that catch, but he does not look happy about the call. Greg, I thought the Central Bucks West cornerback grabbed Hadrick as he tried to cut inside him. And we do have pass interference against the Bucks. So in the end zone, that's going to take you down to the 1-yard line and give Norristown the first down. So that is a very big play. If Norristown goes to 3rd down without having put the ball in the end zone yet, now they really have to start making some decisions about the play calling. Right now, they're back to a power game with that pass interference penalty in the end zone.
That's a big play, and Hadrick got free from his cornerback.
Again, the result of a big receiver, also a fast receiver. And so far, we've seen Norristown really working those outside successfully. Looks like the West corners can't quite stay with them.
So Norristown from the 1-yard line. Blake, the handoff to Swittenberg. He is stopped in the backfield. There's a fumble. And Chris Blake, with a great job of vision to hop on that ball, that would have been disastrous for the Eagles.
Again, great coaching there. You have to teach your players, and I'm sure Chris Blake came to Norristown with a certain degree of this already instilled in him. Don't quit on the play. You have got to keep your eyes peeled. You've got to be aware. All 11 guys involved in the play at all times. You never know what's going to happen. That would have been devastating for Norristown. As it is, it really moves them back, but that would have been devastating to lose the ball down there.
Norristown back to the 7-yard line. Got to work a little harder to put the ball in the end zone now. Blake on the option to Swittenberg, and he is stopped once again. The option not working on that play for Norristown. And now looking at 3rd and 6 or 7.
And the one factor that contributes to that, Central Bucks West has to obviously respect the fact that Chris Blake may take off, but he is not the running threat that Olaher is. He is just not the running threat as we get to the end of the first quarter. It's 14-0 Central Bucks West. Greg, the Central Bucks West, even down that close to the goal line, does not necessarily have to respect the running ability of Chris Blake. He's going to have to show that he can take it around. Until then, Central Bucks West is just going to spread it out, wait for Troy Swittenberg to catch the ball, and then hit him. And again, one-on-one tackling.
It's Norristown now. Got to be saying to themselves, we have to get in on 2 downs. This is a very big part of the game.
And you see why West wins games and shuts people out and only gives up 7 points. Obviously, it's very difficult to get through that huge defensive line that they put up. They play a standard 4-3 defense. But when you try to get to the outside, their linebackers and their defensive backs are just so active, and they just spread the field so well. And again, it doesn't take 2-3 West players to make a tackle. One-on-one is usually good enough for them because they're so sound, so fundamental.